Marcus Chen wiped grease from his hands and looked at the woman standing in his garage. White, maybe 60, designer clothes covered in road dust. Her Mercedes sat dead in the bay. Engine seized, transmission shot. Repair cost $8,400. "I don't have that kind of money," she whispered. Her hands shook. I can't." Marcus saw the bruises then, fading yellow marks on her wrists, finger-shaped, the way she kept looking at the door, the tremble in her voice. He made a decision that would cost him everything he had. "I'll fix it for free." The woman's eyes widened. "What? No, I can't." "You're running from something. Someone." Marcus kept his voice gentle. "I've seen it before. My sister, she had the same look." Tears rolled down the woman's face. "My husband. I finally left. This car is all I have. If it dies here, I have nowhere to go." Marcus nodded. "Give me 48 hours. I'll fix it. You get somewhere safe." What Marcus didn't know, that woman was Margaret Ashford, federal witness to her husband's $300 million fraud scheme. The FBI had been searching for her for 3 days, and Marcus Chen just became the last person to see her before she disappeared. Marcus Chen's auto repair sat on the south side of Detroit. Small shop, 2 bays, 1 employee, Marcus himself. He'd bought the place 6 years ago with every dollar he'd saved, working double shifts at Ford. The sign outside was hand-painted. Honest work, fair prices, no games. His father had taught him that, before the cancer, before Marcus had to drop out of community college to pay for treatments that didn't work. Now it was just Marcus, 34 years old, keeping a dying shop alive in a neighborhood everyone else had abandoned. His phone buzzed. The bank, again. "Mr. Chen, this is Sandra from First National. Your business loan payment is 60 days overdue. We need to discuss—" "I know. I'll have it by Friday." "Mr. Chen, you said that last month." "This month, I mean it." He hung up, stared at the numbers in his accounting software. Revenue last month, $4,200. Expenses, $6,800. He was drowning, slowly, one missed payment at a time. The smart thing would be to close, sell the equipment, get a job at Jiffy Lube, steady paycheck, benefits, normal life. But this shop was all he had left of his father, Chen's Auto Repair. His dad had dreamed of it, died before seeing it. Marcus built it anyway. He couldn't let it die, too. The Mercedes pulled up at 4:47 p.m. on a Wednesday, sputtering, smoking, barely running. Marcus walked out to meet it. The woman driving looked terrified, not car trouble terrified, something deeper. She got out slowly, moved like everything hurt. "Can you help me? Please, my car it started making this noise and then—" Her voice cracked. "I don't know what's wrong with it." Marcus popped the hood, looked inside, winced. "When's the last time you had an oil change?" I don't know. My husband always handled that." "Your engine seized completely. You've also got transmission failure. Probably drove it too long without fluid. Can you fix it?" Marcus did the math in his head. New engine, $4,000. Rebuilt transmission, $3,200. Labor, $1,200. Total, $8,400. He looked at the woman, really looked. She wore expensive clothes, but they were wrinkled, slept in. Her hair was styled, but greasy. She had a designer purse, but her hands shook when she opened it. And those bruises, fresh ones under makeup on her neck. "How much?" Her voice was barely audible. $8,400. Maybe more if I find other damage." The woman's face crumpled. "I can't. I don't have—" She sat down hard on the curb, put her head in her hands. "I'm so stupid. I should have checked. I should have known. I just had to get away, and I didn't think." Marcus sat beside her. "Ma'am, are you okay?" "No." Simple, honest, broken. "I'm not okay. I left my husband 3 days ago. This car is the only thing I took. If it dies here, I have nowhere to go, no way to keep running." "Running from what?" "From him, from what he'll do when he finds me." She looked at Marcus. "I finally testified, told the FBI everything, and then I ran because I know how powerful he is. I know what he's capable of." Marcus's chest tightened. His sister Michelle left her husband 4 years ago, showed up at Marcus's apartment at 2 a.m. with a broken jaw and 3 cracked ribs, stayed on his couch for 6 months while she rebuilt her life. He knew that look, that fear, that desperate need to just get far enough away to breathe. "What's your name?" Marcus asked. "Margaret Ashford." The name meant nothing to him. Should have, but Marcus didn't watch the news much, didn't follow financial scandals, didn't know that Margaret Ashford's testimony had just triggered the largest FBI investigation in a decade. "I'll fix your car," Marcus said. "I told you I can't afford—" "For free." Margaret stared at him. "What?" "I'll fix it for free. Give me 48 hours. You get somewhere safe, come back Friday. Your car will be ready." "Why would you do that?" "Because my sister ran too, 4 years ago. Someone helped her, a shelter, a lawyer, people who saw she needed help and gave it. No questions, no judgment, just help." Marcus stood. "You're running from someone who hurt you? That's enough for me. Go, find a hotel, rest, come back Friday at noon." Margaret stood slowly. "I don't understand. You don't even know me." "I know enough. You need help. I can help. That's all that matters." Tears streamed down Margaret's face. "Thank you. God, thank you." She left in an Uber. Marcus watched her go. Then he looked at the Mercedes, at the $8,400 repair he just promised to do for free, at the bank loan he couldn't pay, at the shop that was already drowning. "Dad," he whispered to the empty garage, "I hope I'm doing the right thing." He got to work.
Marcus worked through the night, pulled the engine, found a used replacement from a salvage yard, $3,200 instead of $4,000, still more than he had. He put it on his personal credit card, the one that was already maxed out, the one charging 23% interest. The transmission was worse, completely destroyed. He called 6 junkyards, found one in Toledo with a rebuilt unit, $2,800. They could have it delivered by tomorrow morning. Another credit card, another balance he couldn't pay. By Thursday afternoon, he'd spent $6,000 of his own money, money he didn't have, money that was supposed to go to the bank, to rent, to keeping the lights on. His phone rang. His sister. "Marcus, I'm short on rent this month. Can you help?" Michelle was in nursing school, working part-time, still recovering, still building her life back. "How much?" $400. "I'm sorry. I know you're struggling too, but I don't get paid until— I'll send it tonight." "Marcus, are you sure?" No, he wasn't sure. He had $180 in his checking account, but Michelle needed help. That's what family did. "I'm sure. Focus on school." He hung up, transferred $400 he didn't have. Overdraft fees would hit tomorrow. His phone rang again. The bank. He didn't answer. The transmission arrived at 7 a.m. Marcus installed it, tested everything. The car ran perfectly. By 11 a.m., he'd spent $8,100 total, plus 32 hours of labor he'd never be paid for. His business account was empty. His personal account was overdrawn. His credit cards were maxed. He had $14 in his wallet. And Margaret Ashford's Mercedes sat in his garage, running perfectly, ready for her to escape whatever she was running from. At 11:45, a black SUV pulled up. 3 people got out. 2 men in suits, 1 woman. Not Margaret. The woman had FBI written across her jacket. Marcus's stomach dropped. What had he done? Special Agent Sarah Chen, no relation, walked into the garage. "Are you Marcus Chen?" "Yes. We need to talk about Margaret Ashford." They sat in Marcus's tiny office. Sarah Chen pulled out a tablet, showed him photos. Margaret Ashford with a man in an expensive suit, William Ashford, CEO of Ashford Capital Management. "Recognize her?" Sarah asked. "She came in Wednesday, car trouble." "Did she say where she was going?" "No, just that she was running from her husband." Sarah nodded. "William Ashford is under federal investigation for securities fraud, $300 million stolen from pension funds. Margaret testified against him 3 days ago. Then she disappeared." Marcus's blood went cold. "Is she okay?" "We don't know. We've been looking for her since Wednesday night. You're the last person who saw her. The Uber she took from here dropped her at a motel. She checked out Thursday morning. Vanished. I fixed her car. She's supposed to pick it up at noon." Sarah leaned forward. "She's coming back here?" "That's what she said." Sarah pulled out her phone, made a call. "We have a location. Subject expected to return at 1200 hours. Prepare to move." She looked at Marcus. "We need you to act normal when she arrives. Don't tell her we're here. Let her get in the car. We'll take it from there." "Is she in danger?" "Her husband has connections, money, resources. If he finds her before we do, yes, she's in extreme danger." Marcus thought about the bruises, the fear in her eyes. "What happens to her after you take her?" "Witness protection, new identity, new life. She'll be safe." "And her husband?" "With her testimony, we can put him away for 40 years. At 12:03 p.m., a taxi pulled up. Margaret Ashford got out. She looked better, rested, clean clothes, but still scared. Marcus met her at the door. "Your car's ready." "I still don't know how to thank you. What you did—" She stopped, saw his face. "What's wrong?" Marcus wanted to warn her, wanted to tell her the FBI was here. But he thought about his sister, about what Michelle's husband had done, about how she'd needed help escaping. "Nothing's wrong. Your car runs perfect. You're going to be safe now." Margaret hugged Marcus. "You saved my life, you know that? You saved my life." She got in the Mercedes, started the engine, smiled at the sound. That's when the FBI moved. 3 vehicles, 8 agents, surrounded her in seconds. Margaret saw them, looked at Marcus through the windshield. Her face showed betrayal, then understanding, then relief. She got out with her hands up. "I'm Margaret Ashford. I'm ready to cooperate fully." Sarah Chen approached her. "Mrs. Ashford, you're safe now. We're going to take you somewhere secure." Margaret looked back at Marcus one more time, mouthed 2 words, "Thank you." Then she was gone.
3 months later, Marcus sat in his garage, staring at the eviction notice. The bank had foreclosed on the shop. He had 30 days to clear out. Chen's auto repair was dead. He'd maxed out every credit card saving Margaret Ashford, fallen 3 months behind on his business loan. The bank called it in. His father's dream, gone. A black SUV pulled up. Sarah Chen got out. "Mr. Chen, can we talk?" They sat in his office. Sarah pulled out an envelope. "Margaret Ashford is safe. Her husband was arrested yesterday. She wanted you to have this." Inside the envelope, a check, $50,000. "She can't contact you directly, witness protection, but she wanted you to know her testimony worked. William Ashford is going to prison, and she's alive because you helped her." Marcus stared at the check. $50,000. Enough to save the shop, pay the bank, keep his father's dream alive. "There's more," Sarah said. "The FBI has a victims' compensation fund for people who helped in the investigation. We're recommending you receive $100,000. Marcus couldn't speak. "What you did was incredibly stupid," Sarah continued. "You helped a federal witness without knowing who she was. You could have been charged with obstruction, with aiding a fugitive." She smiled. "But what you did was also incredibly brave. You saw someone who needed help and you helped them. No questions, no judgment, just kindness." "My shop is still closing," Marcus said quietly. 30 days. Not anymore. Sarah pulled out more papers. The FBI is also recommending you for a federal contract servicing our vehicle fleet in Detroit. Guaranteed income, $400,000 annually. Marcus's world tilted. You saved a federal witness. We take care of people who take care of us. 6 months later, Chen's Auto Repair was thriving. Marcus had hired 4 employees, expanded to 4 bays. The federal contract was steady, reliable. He paid off his loans, helped his sister finish nursing school, started a fund to help other small businesses in the neighborhood. And on his desk, in a frame, was a photo. Margaret Ashford's Mercedes, the car that almost killed his business, the car that saved it instead. His phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Chen? A woman's voice. Unfamiliar. Yes? This is, well, I can't tell you my name, but I wanted to call and say thank you for fixing my car, for helping me run, for not asking questions you knew I couldn't answer. Margaret. Are you safe? Marcus asked. Very. New name, new city, new life. My husband got 45 years. I'll never have to see him again. I'm glad. Mr. Chen, what you did, you lost your business helping me. I heard about the foreclosure. I'm so sorry. It worked out. The FBI helped. I know. I made sure of it. I told them what you did, how you spent everything to help a stranger. They wouldn't have offered the contract without my testimony about your character. Marcus smiled. You helped me back. We helped each other. That's what people should do. They talked for 10 more minutes about new lives, about second chances, about kindness creating ripples you never see. When Marcus hung up, he looked around his garage, at the thriving business, at the employees working, at the father's dream that almost died but lived instead, all because he'd helped a stranger. All because sometimes the right thing and the stupid thing are the same thing, and sometimes, just sometimes, the universe pays you back. The phone call ended. Marcus set his phone down carefully, sat in the silence of his thriving garage. He thought about that Wednesday afternoon, the moment he'd decided to help, how insane it had seemed, how financially suicidal. $8,400 he didn't have, given to a complete stranger while his business was dying. His phone buzzed again, a text from his sister Michelle. Just got my nursing license, starting at Detroit Medical next month, $62,000 salary. I can finally pay you back for everything, for saving me, for believing in me. Love you. Marcus smiled. Michelle had run 4 years ago with nothing. Now she's a registered nurse, building a life, safe, strong, free, because people had helped her when she needed it most, just like he had helped Margaret, just like the universe had somehow, impossibly, helped him back. He walked to the framed photo on his wall. Not just Margaret's Mercedes anymore. Now there were others. Pictures of the employees he'd hired, the neighborhood kids he'd started mentoring, the small businesses he'd helped with loans from his victims' compensation fund. One act of kindness, one impossible choice, and it had created ripples he never could have imagined. His father's voice echoed in his memory, the last conversation they'd had before the cancer took him. Marcus, you know what makes a man rich? Not the money in his account, the lives he touches, the people he helps when nobody's watching. That's wealth that matters. Marcus had thought it was just dying man philosophy, beautiful words that meant nothing in the real world, where rent was due and bills needed paying. He'd been wrong. His father had been right. That evening, Marcus locked up the garage. 4 bays now instead of 2. Security cameras, new equipment, fresh paint. The hand-painted sign stayed, though. Chen's Auto Repair. Honest work, fair prices, no games. His father's words, his father's dream. Still alive. A car pulled up just as he was leaving. Beat-up Honda, smoking, sputtering. A young black woman got out, maybe 25, scrubs covered in stains. Name tag said Detroit Medical Center Cafeteria Services. "Are you closed?" She looked exhausted. "My car just died. I don't have much money, but I really need help. I have to get to work or I'll lose my job." Marcus looked at the Honda, looked at her face, saw the same desperation he'd seen in Margaret's eyes.
The smart thing would be to tell her to come back tomorrow. He'd already put in 12 hours today. He was tired, had plans tonight. But he thought about Margaret, about Michelle, about his father, about how kindness creates ripples. "Pop the hood," Marcus said. "Let's see what we're dealing with." He looked inside. Timing belt, $600 repair. The woman pulled out her wallet. "I have $80. Can we work out a payment plan or—" "I'll fix it tonight. $80 is fine." "But the parts alone." "I said $80 is fine. Come back in 3 hours." The woman stared at him like he'd spoken another language. "Why would you do that?" Marcus smiled, thought about a Wednesday afternoon 3 months ago, about an impossible choice that had cost him everything and saved him anyway. Because kindness creates ripples. Because someone helped me once when I needed it. Now it's my turn to pass it on. The woman's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you. God, thank you." She left in an Uber. Marcus watched her go. Then he got to work, because that's what you do when you have the power to help someone. You help them, even when it's hard, even when it costs you, even when it makes no financial sense. Because kindness isn't an expense. It's an investment in a future you'll never see, but will exist because you cared enough to build it. Marcus worked into the night, fixed the timing belt, checked everything else, made sure the car would run safely. At 10 p.m., the woman returned. Marcus handed her the keys. "All set, $80. She paid him, hugged him. "I don't know how to thank you enough. I was so scared I'd lose my job. My daughter needs medicine and I can't afford to miss any shifts." "You're gonna be okay," Marcus said. "Just keep going, keep fighting." "I will, and someday when I'm in a better place, I'm gonna help someone else the way you helped me. That's all I ask." She drove away. Marcus locked up the garage for the second time that night. Looked at his phone. Text from an unknown number. "Mr. Chen, this is Detective Sarah Chen. Margaret Ashford wanted me to tell you something. Her testimony just helped us recover $280 million in stolen funds, pension funds. Thousands of retirees who lost everything are getting their money back because you fixed a car, because you helped a stranger. Just thought you should know the full impact of what you did." Marcus sat in his truck for a long time, reading and rereading the text. $280 million recovered. Thousands of lives changed. Retirees who'd lost everything getting it back. All because he'd fixed a car for free when he couldn't afford to. All because he'd chosen kindness over common sense. He drove home through Detroit streets, past the neighborhood he'd grown up in, past the apartment where his sister had rebuilt her life, past the hospital where his father had died. Everything connected, every choice rippling outward in ways you never saw until years later. His phone rang one more time. His sister. "Marcus, I just heard. One of my nursing instructors had her pension stolen by some investment guy. She just got a call that they recovered the money. She's crying. She thought she'd have to work until she died. Now she can retire. Now she's free." Michelle's voice broke. "And I heard that it's all connected to some case involving a woman who testified, a woman whose car got fixed by a mechanic in Detroit. Marcus, was that you?" Marcus smiled. "Yeah, that was me." "You saved her, and she saved thousands of people." "We saved each other, Michelle. That's how it works." They talked until Marcus pulled into his driveway, his house, not an apartment anymore, a real house with a yard and a garage and space to breathe. Paid off with the FBI compensation, filled with furniture he'd bought without checking his account first. He was 34 years old. He owned his business, owned his home, had money and savings for the first time in his life.
Not because he'd been smart with money, because he'd been kind when it mattered. Inside, Marcus made dinner, simple food, rice and vegetables, same meal his father used to make. He ate at the kitchen table, alone but not lonely. His phone sat beside him, the text from Sarah Chen still on the screen. $280 million recovered. One car fixed for free. Infinite ripples. That night, Marcus dreamed about his father. They were in the old garage, the one his dad had sketched on napkins when Marcus was 10. "You did good, son," his father said. "You built something that matters." "I almost lost it, Dad. I almost lost everything." "But you didn't. You know why?" Marcus shook his head. "Because you chose people over profit every single time. That's the business model that never fails. Help people. Trust that the universe keeps score." "Does it keep score?" His father smiled. "You tell me. Look around. Look at what you built. Not just the garage, the lives you touched, the people you saved, the ripples that are still spreading." Marcus woke up at 3 a.m., the dream so vivid it felt real. He got up, walked to his home office, pulled out a notebook, started writing. Chen's Auto Repair expansion plan. Not a bigger garage, something different. A program. Free car repairs for people escaping domestic violence. Free maintenance for families below the poverty line. Training programs for kids who wanted to learn mechanics but couldn't afford trade school. All funded by the FBI contract, by the victim's compensation, by the business that had almost died but thrived instead. He worked until dawn, planning, calculating, dreaming. At 7 a.m., his phone rang. Unknown number. Again. "Mr. Chen, this is Lydia Patterson. I'm the director of Detroit Women's Shelter. I heard what you did for Margaret Ashford. I have 17 women here who are trying to leave abusive situations. All of them have car trouble. None of them can afford repairs. Would you be willing to help?" Marcus thought about his sister, about Margaret, about the young woman in scrubs from last night, about his father's voice in his dream. "Send me their information," Marcus said. "I'll help all of them." "Mr. Chen, that could be $50,000 worth of work." "I know. Send me their information." Lydia was quiet for a moment. "Why would you do this?" Marcus looked out his window at the sunrise, at Detroit waking up, at a city full of people struggling and surviving and helping each other in ways nobody ever saw. "Because my father taught me that you're only as rich as the lives you touch, and I'm trying to be the richest man in Detroit." Lydia laughed, cried, "I'll send the list today." She hung up. Marcus sat in the morning light. His business was thriving. His debts were paid. His sister was safe. His father's dream was alive. And somewhere out there, Margaret Ashford was living under a new name, building a new life, free from fear. Because a mechanic in Detroit had chosen kindness over common sense. Because sometimes the right choice and the stupid choice are the same thing. And because the universe does keep score. It just takes time to tally up the final numbers. Marcus went to work that morning with a smile, opened the garage, turned on the lights, started the day. Just like always. Except nothing was the same as always. Everything had changed. Because one woman needed help, and one man had chosen to give it, no matter the cost. Epilogue. 1 year later. Chen's Auto Repair now employed 15 people, 8 bays, a full training program for underprivileged youth, and a partnership with 5 domestic violence shelters across Detroit. In 1 year, Marcus had repaired 147 cars for free, for women escaping abuse, for families in crisis, for people who needed help and had nowhere else to turn. The FBI contract covered it. The victim's compensation funded it. The universe kept paying him back. His phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. "Mr. Chen, this is Margaret. My new name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm a grandmother now. My daughter had a baby. I got to be there. I got to hold her. Because you fixed a car. Because you gave me a chance to run.
I will spend the rest of my life trying to be as kind as you were to me that day. Thank you, forever." Marcus saved the text, added it to the folder where he kept every thank you he'd ever received. 147 cars fixed, 147 lives changed, infinite ripples still spreading. His father had been right all along. You're only as rich as the lives you touch. And Marcus Chen was the richest man in Detroit.
If you've ever helped someone when it cost you everything, this is your story. If you've ever wondered whether kindness matters, it does. If you believe good people deserve good endings, share this. Subscribe for stories where sacrifice gets rewarded. Comment, would you have fixed the car? If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, and subscribe so you'll be here for the next story.